kind of with that, kind of with the team program you talked about. Do you ever measure or just kind of follow up with them, like a 2-year later check-in or a 5-year later check-in? Or
yeah, we do. I mean, we a lot of the when we wrote when we have planning documents that kind of laid out what the strategy was about 5 years ago, leading into where we are now, and all those objectives and goals had specific benchmarks, and then I mean we're listed as kind of SMART goals, so they had these measurable and tangible things that we were kind of working towards. And then based on kind of where we are, we've used kind of that adaptive management style to kind of refocus some of those things. And we revisit that plan. And we've done some really quantitative and qualitative evaluation, we have a human dimensions group within the Fish and Wildlife Services. Pretty small, I mean, there are only a few employees, but and then we've worked with some other outside evaluators, to go through logic models that have these are the things that we're working towards, and these are kind of some of the measurables of where we are now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just wondering because some programs you kind of just afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, from a personal perspective, I mean, I always have a lot of evaluation is. I understand the importance of it, and I'm glad as an agency that we're talking about evaluation, regularly. But yeah, I mean, evaluation in the as a barrier for the time to get us to actually be doing the on-the-ground programming, can get very frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
The reporting requirements, and as a teacher, you probably understand this as well as anyone. When you get to the point where your reporting is doing more than your actual work, and at some point it just becomes that you're not doing any work and you're just reporting, and then it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And recognizing that that's wrong is the hard part, because people are like, oh well, that's my job. My job is this, and it's like, well, that isn't what we're really supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
We've veered off course so far in some cases that we're just doing reporting or not doing the actual work,
mm-hmm.
and that can get real frustrating. As a government bureaucrat, because we're all if you work with a government, you have to be. What makes someone very successful in this line of work is being able to filter through that and move forward as quickly as possible, and then trying not to get your employees too snaggled up, so that they can still do that really important on the ground work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It always changes. It's always difficult, and the reporting requirements tend never to go away. It's very. Sometimes they do. I mean, I'm not going to say, but they tend not to.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to be really good at fielding what's important and getting to a point where we are really actually we don't have a lot of resource. We don't have a lot of staff. I think we have tons of. I feel like we have a lot of resources. It's always the staffing. I mean, you just don't have enough staff,
mm-hmm.
so then you only have enough. You don't have enough time. But
yeah.
It's also a burden that we put on ourselves as visitor services people and educators.
Mm-hmm.
The work's never done, So and that's the great thing about working in the field. And when outside people see that, you want people that are really passionate about the work that they do, and we have that. It's just finding that balance of
mm-hmm.
well, how many Saturdays and Sundays can I work?
Yeah.
Where and see my family.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
But I mean, for some people that's not an issue. And those people, you want to try to weed out of the system as quickly as possible. But,
yeah.
I mean, I don't think if you walked around our staff here, I mean, everybody is really dedicated to what they're doing, and that is really great to see. And I think you see that in across a lot of. You probably see that. You don't choose to do this line of work unless you're pretty passionate about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, going into it,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be, some of the, not sacrifices, but, that little things that are going to take away sometimes, but then you also know, you have that hope of, the working with someone and making a change and all those things.
Yeah, it's great balance. To see those impacts. And, I think that's one thing, maybe, that's why people, become teachers. It's always fun to see somebody if you can spark that a little bit. I think that's kind of the frustrating thing, is sometimes you don't know what the spark is. I think, when you're a teacher and you're with the same group of kids again and again and again, you can really see that change. We don't get that all the time, and we have some students that have in our summer camp next week, we have this kid, came up through our program and is now our junior helper. And he's great, and he's fun to have around. And you have other kids that were like in the school program throughout the year, and like we already have established relationships with them because we've worked with them again and again and again and again and again. So that's different, But if it's a one-off program, yeah, I mean those are the frustrating things. Like, well, am I ever going to see these guys again? I don't know. Like, when you see families, and you've made some kind of an impact, and then they remember you. That's great. Like when I walk in, and people go, "Hey," I'm like, "Oh, good to see you again."
Yeah.
It's like really rewarding. But a lot of times, it's just one-off programs. You never know if you're going to see this person again.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, that's my ex-father thinks it's gonna be a challenge for me.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you're a teacher, and the reason I left is I got invested deeply in some of my kids' troubles and things that were going on in their lives. And,
Sure.
I couldn't divide it anymore. And so I saw this as an opportunity. I wanted to do it. I actually applied to a job at the Smithsonian years ago, and they basically just told me, "Oh, great, you're teaching." And I got through to the last steps of the interview, and they're just like, "We're going to take somebody else because they have a piece of experience and degree."
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, that's a bummer." But when this came around,
I want to get frustrated with the government jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, getting a foot in. I mean, these are really small agencies. When you look at, when you look at other conservation fields.
yeah,
I mean, Jefferson Hospital up the street, big hospital in Philadelphia. In the one building, they have 10,000 employees. That's more than every Fish and Wildlife Service site across the entire country in every aspect of everything that the Fish and Wildlife Service does. So that's not just refuges on the ground. I'm talking about every employee for the whole agency.
Yeah.
There's more people that work up there at one building than everywhere else in the whole entire agency across the country. So these are incredibly small agencies. When we look at, I mean, something like, the Seaport Museum, up the street. They have, they have almost 100 employees there. We have 8 employees. These are totally different.
Oh yeah.
So government jobs are like almost impossible. I mean, in certain fields like that, or like, I mean, these are, needles and haystacks.
Yeah, but and that's where.
Yeah, don't get too just you got to kind of. I'm not saying don't go for it. Go for it. But just, you don't get frustrated. I mean, I've applied to many jobs and haven't gotten hurt.
But that was if I'm going to try to do something like this, the best opportunity would be to find, or to, I was willing to take a year and a half and fully invest it into it and do this. So yeah, that's where I am.
A great step would be to build a training that is called multi-generational learning, and market that and you could become a training facilitator and make way more money than you would otherwise. And if you were able to model a training, people would be interested in hiring you as a trainer, and bringing you to some of those different sites, and you have a very great experience, kind of getting an opportunity to see, some of those things. If you got your foot in the door a few places, then that kind of snowball would get you all set.
Oh yeah.
My backup plan.
Yeah.
If I ever get too frustrated, is just to open up a consulting firm.
Yeah. That's actually like, I told my father that would be my,
that's how you make
in
real
the back
money.
of my mind. Yeah. Cause
and then if you ever want to make, I don't want to give away my whole business strategy, but I have a whole, I definitely, if I ever get too frustrated with it, I have kind of like a 3-year business plan to kind of work myself into, a much more advantageous financial situation.
Yeah.
But, it's not nature centers that, have the issues. It's medical fields that's all say, if you want to make money, that's where the money is.
Oh yeah. No, I know. Yeah.
But it's the same concepts. I mean, the same things that you're talking about. Just apply that to medical fields, and you'd be all set.
Yeah.
Because then you use about 3 places, and then you could speak at a conference on multi-generational. How are you communicating this to medical needs to reduce liability for your hospital? And
they'll jump on that.
3 year, if you could get one foot in the door, all you need is that one credential that you've actually already done this for a thing, and then you'll be flying to Hawaii in first class.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate your time.
Sure.
Like I said, you answered all the questions. So I didn't think it would be too much of a challenge. try to leave them open so someone, some places don't actually have someone else they could defer to say, like, maybe it would be better. When I developed them, I just didn't want to kind of alienate myself to, like, large centers or very specific, like, directors of education or something like that.
Sure.